This video is brought to you by Squarespace. When it comes to websites, online stores, etc., there's no place to build a beautiful online presence like Squarespace. I love Mario a lot. Everyone does. I'm not special, but because I've spent most of my life playing Mario-related games, both as a child and as an adult, I was secretly really excited about this movie. Even if I wasn't sold on the first teaser, the second trailer really got to me, and the idea of a new Super Mario Bros. Movie happening, with Seth Rogen as DK and Jack Black as Bowser, it made me uncontrollably excited. I say all this because my bar going into this movie was on the floor. It didn't take a lot to get me going with this movie. As a Mario fan, I was just excited to watch the colors and noises wash over me, to forget about everything for just 90 minutes. I was ready, and I got exactly that. With the exception of no Mario Golf, I felt stuffed with Mario references by the end of this movie. I wanted some candy, I ate the candy, I was satisfied by the candy, but by the end of it, I felt completely empty inside. See, I hate movies that feel like ads just as much as the next guy, but don't get me wrong, that's not really what caused the bad taste in my mouth at the end of this. Yeah, soulless Easter egg movies aren't great, but there are exceptions, and honestly, if I'm a Nintendo fan going into a Nintendo movie, I don't really care. I won't pretend like I'm upset, I'm just excited to see it. No, what left me annoyed was just how scared of its own fan base this movie felt. What I mean by that is this movie knew how many expectations people had. I'm one of those people. Just to name a few, there's the failure that was the 1993 film that we're not going to talk about. There's the criticism some people have towards the animated eye candy king known as Illumination that was behind this film. There's the not so great reputation that video game adaptations have, and of course there's the fact that this is arguably the most beloved character in video game history, with a rabid fan base that was already tearing the voice acting apart before they heard the voice. I don't think a film has ever walked on eggshells quite like the Super Mario Bros. Movie, and you can tell that when you're watching it, which isn't to say it doesn't take risks. Bowser sings songs about Peach on the piano, they lean into the Brooklyn thing, I guess these count as risks. The issue with walking on eggshells is that too scared to do anything else with the material, the film commits to including Easter eggs, as well as everything that has ever been in the Mario universe. I'm talking new stuff, old stuff, deep cut Kongs, cart references, specific sound effects. The original Mario voice actor gets a small, role. Because you know what? If you're a Mario fan and you leave with this many Easter eggs and references, you're probably gonna leave in a good mood, which is what happened to me. Because you know what? I'd consider myself a decent Mario expert, and I think they did a pretty good job with the Easter eggs. There are a lot of Easter eggs in this movie. There wasn't any Waluigi or Wario. I get it, they're probably gonna be in the sequel. There's a severe lack of Yoshi, and again, no Mario Golf, really. But with this many references that are all tied in pretty seamlessly, as a fan of Mario, it is pretty hard to walk away disappointed. You got to see the blue shell get used as a major plot point, and it kinda worked. How mad can a Mario fan really be? Not that mad. A movie fan, on the other hand, well, you might be thinking, 90 minutes? And it's able to squeeze in that many references and Easter eggs? Do you know how much shit there is in the Mario universe? And they don't feel forced? Are you kidding me? How does it do that? Well, it does that by sacrificing a story. I know, Mario has never been known for its story, and this film is basically a fluffed up version of that story we've seen like 60 times by now. But I feel like, isn't the point of bringing something into the form of a movie an opportunity to take it places we haven't seen before, to expand on the characters and universe in an interesting way, to play with the logic of that world? The Mario movie is incredibly satisfying, but like most Illumination movies, it's also beat by beat predictable and totally expected. It's satisfying because you kinda hope that all these things happen, and then they do happen. It compensates for its bare-bone character development with odes to the game instead of finding a creative way of adding something new to Mario. That said, knowing Nintendo's involvement, I doubt the filmmakers could go that far with expanding on who Mario is without it messing with, I don't know, his image or something. It even feels weird to say the filmmakers, because it's like, who really was behind this movie? I'm not gonna pretend like there wasn't heavy corporate involvement with this movie. That's probably why it is the way it is. And to the film's credit, to Illumination's credit, they managed to make a bunch of these Easter eggs relatively entertaining. It's a lot more interesting than it could be. Again, I wasn't bored once, and seeing Drybones put himself back together in this horror movie type way was, I'll admit, very fun. But that said, the movie we got here is satisfying and entertaining to look at, sure, but it's missing the thing that justifies it existing as a feature-length film instead of just a cooler looking Mario game that I don't get to play. Let's talk specifics though, starting with the thing we all want to know about, which is Christopher Pratt. I didn't like it in the teaser, I didn't like it in the second trailer, and you know what? I didn't like it in the movie. When watching the movie about 30 minutes in, I asked myself, would this voice work better as the classic Mario voice, the Yahoo? Because I can see the argument for that voice getting annoying after a while or failing to meet the emotional range necessary for a film protagonist. I kind of understand, but to that I say, god damn it, it'd be better than this. Nobody has ever been more confused on what to do than Chris Pratt in the recording booth for this movie. Is it Brooklyn? Is it Italian? Is it just Chris Pratt? Choose a route. A more talented voice actor would have taken the classic Mario voice and would have been able to creatively add range to it, and that'd be way more interesting than whatever this is. This isn't even me just trying to target Chris Pratt. He is great as Emmett in the Lego movie. The man knows how to do a good voice performance. I just don't know what happened here. Has he stopped caring? Charlie Day, on the other hand, is an example of not doing the classic Luigi voice, but committing to the voice he did go with and making the character believable. That's how you do it. That's a great performance. On that note, Jack Black as Bowser is also amazing. I feel like everyone's talked about it to a point where I don't even really need to add anything. It's the role he was born to play. Anya Taylor-Joy was fine. I do love her a lot, but she also just didn't seem that committed to this voice. It's still miles ahead of Chris Pratt though. And Seth Rogen is just Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong. As a Donkey Kong main in Smash and as a diehard fan of DK Country, I'm not upset about it. I approve. He's already had a Donkey Kong thing about him, so it kind of works. The animation is pretty decent. Honestly, I'd go as far to say it's Illumination's best animation yet. Say what you will about them, but they do have a cartoonish pace and style with some of their animation that sometimes reminds me of Looney Tunes. This whole leaking pipe spit at the beginning of the film between Mario, Luigi, and a dog is really well done, and I wish more of the film leaned into this slapstick route. As with all Illumination movies though, I have this weird thing against how they do their skies and how discolored a lot of their stuff looks. Like every scene during the day has to be a blue sky. So firstly, there's rarely any variety, but the blue is always like this faded baby blue that looks like the exact same in all their movies. Probably not a big deal to literally anybody else in the world, but having watched all of their films, it really gets to you at a certain point. Lastly, the film is flashy and fast-paced in a way that did suck me in almost immediately. I'm usually sort of against this new style of editing in movies, especially for children, that doesn't give the viewer a second to breathe. Like Black Adam, a movie that approaches its editing from this YouTube perspective where it's trying to cater to rapidly declining attention spans rather than pace a scene appropriately. But that said, a lot of why the sugariness of the Mario movie is so forgivable is that it moves at such a pace that always keeps things interesting. It doesn't feel unnatural. It does absolutely feel unhealthy in a weird way with how many things are entering my eyes and then leaving my brain seconds later, but for something that didn't have much else to think about to begin with, I'll take it. The thumbnail of this video asks, is this even a movie? A question I'm sure a lot of people aren't gonna love. The answer is yes, of course it is. I bought a ticket, I saw it in the movie theater, it has credits, but really what this is a collection of Mario Easter eggs repurposed in the form of a film that are all meticulously placed to form a really simple and bare bones story that just barely works. It entertained me the way I'm sure the new Mario theme park would entertain me, the way a new Mario game would entertain me. It did the same thing that those do, but as a movie, it just felt kind of flat. And that's what I gotta say. Thanks for watching. Go watch the Mario movie and form your own opinion. And before you head out, I want to thank this week's sponsor, Squarespace. Squarespace, if you didn't already know, is a place where you can go online to build your brand, whether that be an online store, a blog, a portfolio, you name it. It's the best place to go to build a website. They have professional portfolio designs where you can create galleries for your work, as well as password protected pages for clients. Me personally, as a filmmaker and video essayist, I love their video block feature, which allows me to showcase some of my favorite videos in a way that looks really nice. Plus, they have a built-in mobile web designer, which makes it so that no matter what website you make, it'll look great no matter what platform it's on, while still matching that unique style of yours. But the best part about it all is that if you go to squarespace.com/Karsten, that's 10% off your first purchase. So really, why haven't you given it a chance yet? If you haven't given it a chance, what are you doing? Come on. Thanks for watching. Thanks Squarespace for sponsoring this video, and I'll see you all in the next one.